Breaking news, a confrontation at a donut shop ends in a deadly shooting. And police sources say the man they're looking for may have pulled the trigger because of where the victim was standing. Good evening, I'm Christine Johnson. Maurice is off tonight. The NYPD says the argument inside a Bronx Dunkin' Donuts spilled out into the street. And sources tell us a female customer accused the 26-year-old victim of getting too close, and that is when she called her boyfriend for help. CBS 2's Corey James tells us what police say happened next.
Balloons and candles were placed in front of 26-year-old Stephen Stewart's home. His family and friends who did not want their faces shown stood on the stoop and sidewalk mourning the loss, trying to understand why anyone would shoot their loved one, originally from Jamaica, who moved to the Bronx just 3 months ago.
I'm surprised somebody would just hurt him like that over nothing.
Stewart's aunt says her nephew was at this Dunkin' Donuts near Gun Hill Road and Holland Avenue in the Bronx. She says a witness told the family that a woman standing in line accused Stewart of being too close to her. Police say that woman then called her boyfriend, who then followed Stewart. Officers say they exchanged words before the suspect shot him about 2 blocks away.
It's just sad. It's just sad.
This neighbor says violence in this area happens often.
I don't really feel safe, especially at night. During the day, yeah, taking the kids to school and bringing them back home, but not at night. And I'm surprised this happened during the day, so now I'm confused.
Stewart leaves behind his mother and 2 sisters who are in Jamaica, a family heartbroken over a sudden and senseless loss.
For anyone that have any information about these people that killed my nephew, please help us because we don't really even know them ourselves.
And loved ones say Stewart's mom was rushed to the hospital after she learned her son had been murdered. We're told he worked here in the city at a restaurant to support his family in Jamaica. In the Williamsbridge section of the Bronx, Corey James, CBS 2 News.
Being robbed by 2 attackers armed with a knife in Soho. Police say 2 men approached a woman early Friday morning on Thompson Street, one from in front, the other from behind. The men showed a large knife and grabbed her purse. The 25-year-old victim threw another bag to the ground and was not hurt. Police are now looking for the 2 suspects who made off with the woman's laptop, tablet, cell phone, and other items worth about $6,000 in total. Now exclusive, a random attack on an elderly woman at an outdoor cafe on the Upper West Side. The woman, in her 90s, sucker punched in the head. The man who did it never said a word. But thanks to the restaurant's quick-thinking manager, cops made an arrest quickly. Once again, here's Savon Kim.
Outside Manny's Bistro on the Upper West Side, outdoor diners today were surrounded by calm and spring-like weather. But yesterday afternoon, this was interrupted by a random, unprovoked attack against a woman in her 90s.
I suddenly got a terrible bang on my back of my head, and I thought something had fallen on me. It was a sharp, very sharp blow to my back of my head.
In this exclusive Eyewitness News interview, the victim says she was standing on the sidewalk looking at the menu when suddenly, without saying a word, a man punched her. She never even saw his face, but restaurant owner Manuel Colon saw his face.
Let me follow him and call 911 at the same time instead of getting involved myself and get myself in trouble. One punch right in the back of the head, just for no reason whatsoever, just walking up and he just decided to punch me.
Colon says he stayed a few paces behind and watched as the assailant continued harassing others along Columbus Avenue. He says he was wobbly and appeared drunk.
2 employees of the Department of Correction are recovering after getting shot overnight inside a club in Queens. Police say the suspect was thrown out of the club, and once outside, he began shooting into the bar. A 31-year-old man was hit in the hand, and a 32-year-old woman was shot in the foot.
Family members sobbed outside this Bronx apartment building where 37-year-old Bajana James was murdered inside her home.
We need to catch the person who did it.
This neighbor watching from her window knew James and observed her loved ones placing candles outside the Betances houses on East 147th Street, which became a crime scene early Saturday. The neighbor told us she can't stop thinking about the children.
I got 2 kids.
James is survived by a 12-year-old son and 8-year-old daughter.
Now the kids don't have a mother.
The children were staying with their grandmother when the murder happened. Family members say James worked here at Empire City Casino in Yonkers, and that the last time friends heard from her was on Wednesday. Relatives who declined to go on camera told us the last contact was when James texted a friend saying she was scared of a man she was living with. The man is described by the family as a boyfriend, and they don't know where he is. James' mother went to the apartment to do a welfare check but did not get inside. Then one of James' siblings showed up, got inside, and found the body. Police say James' throat was slashed, and investigators recovered a knife.
It's heartbreaking for something like that to happen. She's a humble person, a mom. I always say hi to everybody when she come out.
He said many around here will not be able to rest until police catch the killer.
Joe Hankey, a heartbreaking story is unfolding in Cherokee County tonight. A captain with the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office tells our newsroom a father and teenage daughter are both dead tonight following a murder-suicide. Investigators have been at the family's home for several hours in the Bridge Mill community west of Holly Springs. That's where we find John Sherrick tonight. And John, what more are investigators telling us tonight?
Cherokee County Sheriff's investigators just wrapped up their work here at the house on Bridge Mill Avenue. A few minutes ago, I saw deputies leaving the house with a large bag and a box of potential evidence. Investigators tragically confirming that the father, who they identified as Howard Newhouse, shot and killed his 19-year-old daughter, Catherine Newhouse, and then shot and killed himself. These are recent Facebook photos of Catherine Newhouse that she posted on her public Facebook page. The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office got the call this afternoon and responded to find the two dead inside the house. Sheriff's Captain Jay Bowman tells us the wife, Catherine's mother, was inside the house at the time of the shootings, and they've been interviewing her as they begin to figure out the circumstances that led up to this.
We have detectives on the scene. The coroner's here conducting an investigation. Don't have a lot of more information at this time to release other than that.
Violence in the city, this time at a deli in East New York, Brooklyn. Police say a 28-year-old man was shot in the head earlier today around 4 p.m. on Pitkin Avenue. Police say the shooting happened inside the store. You're going to see surveillance video showing the gunman walk in just before shooting a man standing by the door moments later. We spoke with a worker who says the victim is a regular.
Three times shoot him. The first time I see somebody shoot somebody, and I see that before. This is serious. I am long time here and I see somebody shoot somebody.
The store worker says he did not recognize the gunman. The victim was taken to Brookdale Hospital and is in critical condition.
Let's look at this video that police are releasing to ask for the public's help. Close to 100 people gathered early Saturday morning, just a minute after midnight, to watch this red two-door Infiniti sedan doing donuts or drifting in this Soho intersection. Several people are taking videos when one of them may have tripped or stumbled in front of the moving car. The 23-year-old male victim suffered a fractured skull, a brain injury, and severe trauma to the body. He was rushed to the hospital where he remains in critical condition.
How did that 23-year-old end up here? Like, he knew this was going to happen? It's sad.
Madness. New York crazy. Police say the driver fled east on Van Dam Street. They don't have a detailed description of the driver, but the red Infiniti sedan had a yellow decal on the driver's side with the words Tyler Speck.
I guess with the name on the car, they should be able to find that person.
Another example of it, this time at the entrance to the crown jewel of the city, Central Park. A 9-year-old girl visiting here from Florida when a man just punches her in the head out of nowhere. The girl now okay, and New York cops say the attacker now under arrest because of the fast thinking and brave response of a veteran doorman at the famous Plaza Hotel. Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang talking to this hero.
Central Park is quiet tonight, but there were screams, tears, and fear Monday morning when a little girl became the latest victim of random street crime. We're told the child and her family were trying to enjoy Central Park South when a man, without warning, punched the 9-year-old tourist in the head.
I saw that there was a guy screaming and walking very quickly toward a family that had a baby in a baby carriage and a little girl. And the little girl was holding her head and she was crying and the mother was screaming.
Enter our New York City hero. Neil Johnson has been a doorman at the Ritzy Plaza Hotel for 24 years. He was walking towards Central Park South to hail a cab for a customer when he heard the screams. He didn't hesitate to put himself between the man and the frightened family to protect them. He says the man was aggressively pursuing the victims.
Told him to stop by yelling a whole louder than him, just telling him, you better stay where you are.
Eventually, another man came to help. Neil was able to call police and arrest was made. The little girl's city, Mayor Adams has announced new neighborhood safety teams to try to get a handle on the problem.
But the rollout comes amid more shocking crimes, including the shooting of a 7-year-old child in Brooklyn. CBS 2's John Diaz joins us live from that scene in Coney Island with more. John?
Chris and Mary, detectives tell us, well, it appears that this young girl was not the intended target here of this shooter. Now, luckily, this girl, we are told she is safe. She is recovering as police still search for this suspect.
Horrifying moments in Coney Island. Surveillance video shows people scared and running for their lives on Surf Avenue as shots rang out from a nearby vehicle. Moments before, you could see a 7-year-old girl walking with her family. Police say she was grazed by one of the stray bullets once she turned the corner. And in Canarsie, Citizens app video shows flashing police lights after a man shot a woman multiple times on Glenwood Road. Detectives say both people are expected to live, but are a few examples of the latest to fall victim to New York's growing crime rate, which Mayor Eric Adams is promising to fight back.
We're going to stop the river of violence that is feeding the sea of violence. And
These two men are getting away with cash and valuables. Take a closer look. You can see one man runs up behind a victim, puts him in a chokehold. Then once on the ground, a second man jumps in. The two then rummage through the victim's pockets before taking off. Police say in a matter of seconds, these two men are wreaking havoc here in Bushwick. When we showed the video to people walking by,
It's just impossible to be outside alone. Either you have to be with family or a friend at least.
police say it is a good idea to never walk alone at night. From November to just last week, the men have randomly targeted 8 people walking alone on several streets in Bushwick. In all of the incidents, a chokehold was used to get the victim on the ground, and police say the pair of thieves seem to be getting more aggressive. The most recent attack happened here on Bleecker Street and Wyckoff Avenue. The victim was pushed to the ground. The two men stole his wallet and cell phone. It's right where Hector Tawari has lived for 26 years.
Criminals. Yeah, dangerous. It's getting rough.
Tawari tells Pix 11 News he...
Breaking right now, police say a boy accidentally shot his 80-year-old grandmother in West Oak Lane. She suffered a graze wound to her head. This happened on the 2300 block of 77th Avenue. Chopper 3 over the scene a short time ago. Police say that the boy was playing with a gun. They are working to learn how he got a hold of the weapon. His grandmother is in stable condition at Einstein Medical Center.
A high-end heist busted on Long Island. Police arrested 4 people accused of ransacking a Balenciaga store in the Hamptons. And this new surveillance video shows how it all went down. Police say crooks stole luxury handbags worth $94,000. And as you can see, they were in and out of the store in less than 20 seconds. News 4's Paisy Chang live in Riverhead with the story. Paisy?
Yeah, and it's so shocking, not only the speed at which they did this, but the brazenness at which they approached this. These thieves then led police on a chase that sometimes took these thieves upwards of 100 miles per hour. 4 of them were eventually arrested, but 1 person is still at large. Pricey designer bags plucked off the shelves by 5 thieves with expensive taste. Prosecutors call the operation orchestrated and organized.
When she went into the store, she asked about a pair of shoes, and when the clerk went to get those shoes, the 4 co-conspirators rushed in.
It took roughly 20 seconds for the thieves to grab 48 Balenciaga bags. The estimated value, $94,000. But they
are searching for a group that attacked a 14-year-old boy. This is out in Brooklyn. It happened in East New York at the Van Siclen Avenue train station last Monday afternoon. Investigators say the 7 people punched the victim several times in the head and body before taking off. That victim suffered swelling and bruising. Now, if you have any information, call Crime Stoppers. That number is 1-800-577-TIPS.
Eyewitness breaking news.
Breaking news at 11 o'clock, a hail of gunfire in Exposition Park, just blocks from USC. Dozens of bullet casings can be seen on the ground, and that white BMW covered with bullet holes. The driver of that car, a young woman, somehow surviving it all. Air 7 HD overhead before the ambulance even arrives. Eyewitness News reporter Christian Cordero live now with the late breaking new information and exclusive video. Christian.
Mark, it is just remarkable. We're here on King, just off of Vermont, and that car right behind me has dozens of bullet holes through it. We are told just an hour and a half or so ago that a woman in that vehicle was obviously hit pretty relentlessly. The video that we have that kind of helps illustrate this is pretty graphic, so we do want to warn you. It's exclusive video from Air 7 HD that shot it moments after it happened, where you could see is sitting right by that vehicle, speaking with officers. She is clearly bleeding, but she is conscious, and she, again, is talking with them. There were dozens of shell casings scattered around that car. Police haven't found the suspect yet. They believe that he took off in a white sedan. He or she took off in a white sedan, perhaps with tinted windows, so unclear if there's one suspect or several of them. Not sure either if the woman knew that suspect. We know that she is, according to police, in her 30s, they believe. Still so many more questions than answers right now, but as we show you the video of that woman getting into an ambulance, it is clear, again, that she is conscious. She is speaking with officers, and as they describe, relatively speaking, she's okay. When you walk up to a scene like this, is that...
So we're looking for the thieves in a bold daylight robbery at a beauty spa in the Flatiron District. Investigators say the crime was caught on surveillance video Saturday afternoon at the spa on East 19th Street. 3 people started taking items from shelves and then tried to leave without paying for them. Police say when a store employee tried to stop them, she was kicked. The thieves got away with more than $3,000 in merchandise.
A hero killed in his final act, saving his own family. The 32-year-old standing up to a gunman in a home invasion. The suspect also accused of shooting the hero's mother and pistol whipping his 9-year-old niece during this deadly encounter.
CBS 13's Steve Large is live in Stockton with how the community is grieving his loss. Steve.
What a terrifying scene, and Stockton police call this a random act of violence. This gunman forcing his way into an apartment with an 18-year-old and several younger children. Those children called their uncle for help. He died confronting the gunman. A candlelight memorial paying solemn respect to a man who lost his life saving his family. The heartache just outside the apartment where Tyrone Deloney was shot to death. The 32-year-old was known as Ty Ty. What do you want people to know about Ty?
Ty Ty was a hero.
Neighbor Jessica Moore says she considered Deloney like a brother and that he was loved by many.
He always cared about the kids and his family. And he died trying to save the kids.
CBS 13 has video of the crime scene Tuesday night. Moore was there and saw the gunman in the apartment parking lot moments after the shooting, not realizing the heinous crime he just committed.
And I pulled back up to the house. The kids were screaming. And when I went inside, I just seen everything, and it was really bad. It was really, really bad.
Police arrested this man, Frederick.
To get to now, a teenage girl brutally beaten in the Bronx. The attackers took her sneakers and her cell phone. This attack was caught on camera. We do have to warn you this afternoon. This video is really hard to watch. The NYPD is trying to find the 3 people in this video here. They say 2 guys and a girl kicked and punched that victim in the face and stomach in the Norwood section. News 4's Mark Santia is there live with new reaction actually from the victim and her mother, Mark.
Yeah, and right now, Natalie, detectives are looking for at least 3 people who left a 13-year-old girl bruised, battered, and traumatized. The violent attack is upsetting to watch, but this mom wants you to see what this group did to her 13-year-old daughter.
It was just not right. No one helped her. No adult helped her at all. Everyone was with their cell phone out.
Witnesses were recording with their smartphones, one even applauding. The 13-year-old victim says she was pepper sprayed, kicked, punched, even smashed with a half-gallon of milk. And look at this guy, who even ran down the block just to hit her while she was on the ground.
I had a bruise on my face here. I had something like on my arm. I had bruises on my leg right here. My head was hurting here because she was trying to hit my head on the concrete. And I was trying to block her, from hitting, my head from on the floor.
Speaking through tears with her mom by her side.
You're gonna be okay.
The 13-year-old says she went to the grocery store near 194th and Valentine last week, but she doesn't know why the group attacked. They stole her $300 sneakers, a Christmas gift, and hung them off a light pole near the attack. The victim is afraid to go outside.
It's boring being in the house.
Like, to my granddaughter, I have to go. I can't do this.
Families outrage. A little girl caught in the crossfire while playing outside her grandmother's house. Now the search is on for that gunman. Good evening, I'm Gilma Avalos, and that little girl was hit in the arm by a bullet meant for someone else. This happened right outside her grandmother's house on Long Island. And the person who pulled the trigger, that person is still on the run. News 4's Adam Harding live in Hempstead tonight. And Adam, first of all, how's this little girl doing tonight?
Gilma, physically, the child is doing okay, already out of the hospital, but certainly this 7-year-old little girl is very traumatized, so much so that she can't even stay at her family's home. They fear for their own safety. Tonight, police are searching for whoever shot this little child.
This is too much for her. She's only 7.
Patricia Murphy's 7-year-old granddaughter was outside playing with her 3-year-old brother riding her little pink scooter when she was shot Saturday, the latest child caught in the crossfire.
So now she's on the ground. I grabbed her and I pulled her out, so I ripped everything off to see because she was screaming. Help me, help me. Why would somebody shoot me? Why would somebody shoot me? Why would they do this to me? And we crying and screaming. And I'm like, oh my God, so I had to see where, and there was a bullet hole in her arm and it went through her coat. We called the ambulance. The ambulance came and we took her to the hospital. It's disgusting.